In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, O mankind, we created you from a singly of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that ye may know each. Verily the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. And Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted. He also says, O mankind, reverence your guardian Lord, who created you from a single person, created, of like nature, his mate, and from them twain scattered countless men and women. Reverence Allah, through whom ye demand your mutual, and the wombs, for Allah ever watches over you. Moreover, Allah says, Allah forbids you not, with regard to those who fight you not for faith nor drive you out of your homes, from dealing kindly and justly with them, for Allah loveth those who are just. Allah only forbids you, with regard to those who fight you for faith, and drive you out of your homes, and support and driving you out, from turning to them. It is such as turn to them, that do wrong. Many centuries ago, Islam completed his unique model of treating and dealing non-Muslims. At early times, Muslims proved their ability to coexist and peacefully live with others. Nowadays, Muslims are facing the problem of reproving what their ancestors proved before. While Muslims preceded others in presenting their model, the Westerns had to wait until the 17th century to present the model. This was particularly in Amsterdam and then in England. Great thinkers like Kant could not call for the freedom of Jews until the end of the 18th century. Sectarian minority life conditions in Europe has started to improve just in the second half of the 20th century. It is not difficult for a researcher to notice that Islam was not a part of that chain. Instead, Islam was the end of a past that witnessed the cruelest actions in treating the other. Islam came while the world was struggling racist classifications such as Berbers, Gentile, nationalists, etc. From the very beginning, Islam called that there is only one God and that we are all the sons and daughters of one Father. If we open at the Holy Quran, the first verse we find will be, Praise be to Allah, the Creator and Sustainer of the worlds. In addition, the last verse will be, Say, I seek refuge with the Lord and Creator of mankind. Prophet Muhammad kept on addressing people and telling them, O people, your Lord is one. Your Father is one. Moreover, Prophet Muhammad was addressing Allah in the middle of the night saying, O Allah, I bear witness that all people are brothers. If the contemporary man assented to talk about equality in its legal meaning, Islam stated the real meaning of justice. In a Muslim's point of view, equality is a predicative composition rather than imperative or recommending. That is, a Muslim does not say about two brothers, we should treat them equally and consider them brothers. A Muslim should say, they are brothers. The legal meaning take root when it is established on the real meaning. Then, the legal meaning become the frame to the real. It is true that humans could not remain a creature of instincts which allow him to be free of all kind of racism and prejudice. Humans stopped being that creature to change into a sociable one. This led to the presence of a diversity of cultures and beliefs. This is the great drama of human through the ages. The Holy Quran dealt with that fact as a will of Allah Almighty. In the Holy Quran, Allah says, If thy Lord had so willed, he could have made mankind one people, but they will not cease to dispute. Except those on whom thy Lord hath bestowed his mercy, and for this did he create them. In addition, Allah says, Thus have we made alluring to each people its own doings. This is why all the attempts to unite the whole world culture and belief failed and will fail. In the lights of this model, the Muslim believes that the account of the disbeliever is with Allah. Allah told his Prophet Muhammad, Their account is only with my Lord, if ye could understand. In addition, Allah says, In naught art thou accountable for them. Moreover, he says, On their account no responsibility falls on the righteous, but is to remind them, that they may fear Allah. He also says, For to us will be their return, then it will be for us to call them to account. Thus, The complete revelation of the truth will not be in this world but in the hereafter. The legislative system of Islam comes to agree with the doctrinal one by stressing on the right of others to believe in whatever and practice their ceremonies. It is a fact that you disagree with me on religion and that I differ from you, but I should respect your choice and stress the importance of it. This world is created for lasting disputes and diversity. Simple-minded people are the only who fear diversity. Diversity is a phobia for feeble-minded people, whereas it is attraction for open-minded. It is worth mentioning that the Holy Quran did stress on the importance of that not only at the times of Islam's weakness but also in his strongest times. In the Holy Quran, Allah addressed Muslims, Allah forbids you not, with regard to those who fight you not for faith nor drive you out of your homes, from dealing kindly and justly with them, for Allah loveth those who are just. Allah only forbids you, with regard to those who fight you for faith, and drive you out of your homes, and support in driving you out, from turning to them. It is such as turn to them, that do wrong. This is a wonderful attitude from the both sides. The weakness of a weak is what make the strong aggressive, and the strength of a strong is what motivate him to slaughter the weak. The Holy Quran clearly states that as long as the non-Muslims are not involved in a violation or aggression, we Muslims are invited to deal with them kindly and justly and offer them charity. Muslim scholars stated that the word charity is a collective word that includes all kind of good and kind helping. Some Muslim imams who believe that justice is our duty toward who fights us and who does not. He says that the meaning of the previous verse is to give poor non-Muslims from our money as a charity. Muslims see in justice an absolute idea that cannot be divided. With justice were earth and heavens created. In the Holy Quran, Allah says, and the firmament has He raised high, and He has set up the balance. Also, justice the purpose of sending prophets and Sharia. In the Holy Quran, Allah says, we sent aforetime our apostles with clear signs and set down with them the book and the balance, that man may stand forth in justice. This is why a Muslim should find no difficulties in treating the others kindly, realizing that doing that will contribute to make the world a better place for living. He should realize that is not living just for his own benefit but for others. This is taken from Allah addressing Muslims, ye are the best of peoples, evolved for mankind, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and believing in Allah. This means that Muslims are the best people for people. Imam Bukhari stated that the companion Abu Hurairah said, this proves verse that Muslims read the best people for people. In addition, Imam Ibn al-Munthir stated that the companion Ibn Abbas said, this verse stresses that Muslims read the best people for people. Thus, the preference of Muslims is for how they work and deal with others. Moreover, a Muslim feels closeness when he lives with other people of a divine book. He feels secure about his religion, money and family, which leads him to pray for others. Muslims who immigrated to Al-Habasha prayed to Allah that Al-Najashi might win over his competitor. They did it because he had them in his soil. Companion Salama said, we prayed for him to win the battle. Persian king, called Kisra, tore up a letter from Prophet Muhammad inviting him to convert to Islam. When Hercules received the Prophet Muhammad's letter, he kissed it, put it on his head, then placed it in a golden cage. When the Prophet Muhammad heard that, he said, may Allah save his throne. Although he disagreed with him about religion, he prayed for him. This means that the Prophet Muhammad wanted Christianity to be in last. We find no problem to look at the Austrian as our brothers despite all the differences. Not only is there humanity brotherhood but also there is country brotherhood. Allah says on the behalf of Prophets Noah, Salih, Hud and Lut, behold, their brother Lut said to them, will ye not fear? Behold, their brother Hud said to them, will ye not fear? Behold, their brother Salih said to them, will you not fear? Some people have a confusing feeling toward the foreign countries they live in. They find it difficult to consider it as their homes. They feel nostalgia for their past and hometowns, keeping them confined in the idea of returning home. Our children are born and raised here. They do not know a home except where they were born. They are born in the borders of two different worlds and cultures. They will act as the go-between for the two different worlds in order to enhance the connections in the community. On the other hand, simple-minded are expected to attack those who represent a part of themselves. This is what is called self-harm. Therefore, we should provide our children with all the means that help them flexibly and positively deal with these cultures. It is worth mentioning that talking about culture purity and self-isolation with the idea of participating with others is just an illusion that will impoverish us more and more. We should think about meeting and blending. In one word, it is the influence. No doubt if you want to influence others, you should show them some respect and accept their ideas and belief. Anyone who would like to learn a language of others in order to understand their culture and tradition should know how those others look at his language and culture. If he finds that those others look down at his language and culture, then he will learn that learning those others' language is a signal of subordination and self-underestimating. It is tragic to see that both sides see in the other a blank sheet of paper that he will make it a copy of the other self. Both sides should realize a very important fact that no matter how the identity is made up of different elements, these elements react like body organs. They are not stable. They depend on each other. If one of these elements is missing or paralyzed, the whole identity will be provoked. When anyone feels that his religion is in danger, religion becomes the signal of the whole identity. This is why understanding others' identity elements is helpful for positive interaction. What makes someone imprisoned is the way others look at him. On the other hand, what makes someone free is how others look at him. It is mandatory that everyone accept his brother with open hands despite all the differences. We all know that there is no formula that could gather us on one decision because we are all created with these rules. This is the challenge for our understanding and then our behavior. I want to emphasize that all the attempts to convince us that religious texts are the basis of violence, extremism and terrorist action are misguided. These attempts are misguided because they resort to reductionism, which always fails to explain anything. Intolerance and extremism besides tolerance and acceptance could not be explained just by referring to ideological and religious texts. Instead, we should refer to the context of civilization, culture, politics, economics and social circumstances that a community undergoes. The reason is that a religious text can be interpreted with different human perspectives that use the religious text interpretations that fit their conditions. As a live instance, you can read thousands of books that talk about Islam, but this will not help you understand the Palestinian and Algerian case. On the other hand, reading a few hundreds of books that talk about colonialism in Palestine and Algeria will help you analyze what happened there. However, Islam's historic experience will initially stand against all the attempts that accuse him of extremism and stagnation. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for all your efforts. Goodbye.